On February 18, 2025, a lawsuit was filed against the streamer Destiny. It states that Destiny shared explicit images and videos of the plaintiff known online as Pixie. Pixie is requesting no less than $1 million. This is arguably the most vulnerable Destiny has been in his 15-year online career. More vulnerable than the other times those he's interacted with have attempted to expose him as a horrific manipulator.
Anna, why
does he lie? I'm telling the truth, please.
Okay, Anna.
His saving grace is that many of these people were not of sound mind and did not file a lawsuit. Additionally, this is not the only time Destiny has shared intimate imagery or betrayed someone's trust, as Destiny is also a serial cheater. Due to his lack of care of his actions and those close to him, he is often labeled as a sociopath and manipulator. Whatever the case, he is skilled in what he does. From his days of working in a casino to his early StarCraft 2 streams, he has shown persistence and a proclivity to understand the space he is in, and has surpassed any obstacle in his way. Until now. To understand how we got here, this video will be covering the history of Destiny from before the streams to present day. There are many ways to describe Destiny: cold, calculating, distant. There are also many instances of Destiny drawing parallels to his childhood and why he may be the way he is.
So I was left pretty much to my own devices growing up. My parents didn't come to my concerts or, come to school plays or whatever. It was pretty much just me on my own. I think that, combined with the fact that most of my heroes were very edgy, shonen-esque figures, were people like Solid Snake or whatever in JRPGs and shit, led to me growing up to be a pretty individual person. This has its ups, it has its downs. For me personally, in this business, it's been a major benefit to me, like an insurmountable benefit. It's something that you hear a lot of people complain about.
Through stories like these, Destiny has explained he learned to be independent early on in life. He also learned how to detach. A story of particular note is his grandma, who, as Destiny tells it, would routinely adopt a dog. The dog would misbehave due to a lack of training, and his grandma would put it down.
When I was pretty young, maybe around 5th grade, I think she did this to 2 dogs that me and my little sister were very attached to. I remember obviously being incredibly upset when that happened, because they were the 2 dogs that I liked the most. But then after that, I kind of stopped caring so much about each individual dog, because I knew that it had a 12-month timer on it, basically. One of the days that I got up to leave, it was 4:30, 4:45, I heard the dog pissing in my grandma's room, and I'd never seen it before. And this dog was taking this massive piss. And I remember that I opened my door, and my grandma had her hands on the bed, and she was just kind of barely leaning over, and she was just pissing all over the floor. And she kind of looked at me, and I kind of looked at her, and I didn't say anything, and she kind of grumbled a little bit, and then she crawled back into bed. And I left, and I was like, holy fuck.
Despite events like these, or his parents mismanaging their wealth to terrible result, Destiny contends he had a pretty good life. While his parents may not have been as involved as others, Destiny's mom at minimum was supportive, as she would readily deliver compliments, like when Destiny would write articles for his school's newspaper.
Oh, and I emailed it to my mom because I was so proud of it. And she said, whoa, that was quite a shocker. It was, in my humble opinion, an outstanding article. The ending stopped you in your tracks. Great job, Pumpkin Pie. Lots of good points made.
The article in question was one that mirrored the Republican views of his parents, but Destiny adopted more than just a view.
Conservative opinions. And then going through grade school and high school, I guess I have the debater archetype. I don't know if that's genetic or just I got it from my mom environmentally. So I've always been kind of an argumentative, disagreeable person who's been politically interested.
While Destiny would always be argumentative, that did not stop him from making friends. The real-time strategy genre was booming. StarCraft in particular was regarded as well-balanced and offered boundless competition. A confluence of strategy and actions per minute, or APM for short. APM is highly important for economy management and engagements where a player has to consider the spacing of units, selecting the appropriate target for units, sometimes even individually, and kiting if the situation calls for it. This incredible depth of optimization is possibly what hooked Destiny and many other players. And so, as the esports scene grew, it carried StarCraft along with it. Destiny, however, did not share the same level of interest with his schooling despite how well he scored on tests. Quote, I graduated high school in a pretty unique position. I had amazing test scores, a 35 on the ACT, and enough 4 through 5s on AP tests to almost enter college as a sophomore. Unquote. Even so, Destiny states he had bad grades. The reason? Not enough pressure. Destiny, as he would find out, responds well to adversity, to a challenge. In high school, Destiny joined his school's jazz band, only he was not very experienced, as was apparent during a rehearsal.
Somebody's messing up here, we're gonna go down the line. We went down the line, we played it, and I didn't know my part well enough, and I fucked it up. It was horrible. And I remember he chided me in front of the whole band. It was like, if you want to play with the jazz band, you're gonna have to do way better than that. And I remember feeling so fucking humiliated. But it was on a Friday, but like that weekend, I think I spent like fucking 12 hours.
Destiny caught on quick, and did well enough in band that it's what he decided to get a higher education in. To pay for school, he signed up for the Air Force but was denied because he was underweight at an estimated 105 pounds, so he got a job outside of the military to pay for his education. At this point, he deems his life was almost perfect. Quote, even though I didn't get a full ride to college, my life entering it was almost perfect. I was married to the most amazing girl I have ever met in my entire life. I was pursuing music, a great passion of mine. And I had a promising job, future career started at a casino with a huge opportunity for personal growth. Unquote. This would not last, as these components would be lost one by one. Tragically, his job conflicted with his school schedule as he missed the first day of college band.
And I missed it, and after day one, I was like, fuck. They assigned all the sections, like, I don't know, man. And I didn't go for the whole semester, and I was like, whatever. And I got an A. I'm not gonna lie, I don't know if this counts as like academic fraud and I can never go back to college, but I took 3 years, I took 6 semesters of university band and I got an A on every single semester. I don't know how.
This boon would go unutilized as Destiny decided to drop out of college in favor of working in a restaurant inside a casino. A job that he had held for 3 years at this time. One that he got by impressing a casino manager while working at McDonald's. This turned out to not be the best choice as it was made with the confidence that he was integral to have things running smoothly. As he tells it, he was good at his job and secured a supervisor role around the age of 20, yet his relationship with management started to deteriorate. The same could be said about his marriage. What's more, his childhood friend Chris was going through a mental health crisis.
And basically he said that he pretty much figured that since he had nothing going for him, he was going to kill himself. And at the time, because of where I was at in my life, we talked a lot about it, and I was like, it's your life, dude. Don't let anybody else control you. If you really feel like killing yourself is the best thing, then by all means, fucking go for it. Personally, I disagree or whatever. And then he did it.
Destiny has stated that he was not so direct when talking to Chris and was being exaggerative when talking about it on stream.
Even from a selfish perspective, I wouldn't want him to kill himself. Absolutely not.
He did it.
At minimum, Destiny still had his job. Here he brought forward ways to improve efficiency regarding the input of data using Excel, which was dismissed. He was pragmatic when it came to solving issues, such as requesting more staff members to keep a clean environment, which was also ignored. To this, he made a novice mistake.
My manager, Pam, told me, well, you got to figure it out. And so I remembered her advice. So I emailed the VP of Food and Beverage and I CC'd her. And I said, I'm not getting the help I need in my restaurant. Now, I didn't know at the time that I was basically completely throwing her under the bus.
After this, Destiny states he was being written up for the most minor of transgressions. The straw that broke the camel's back was when he attempted to persuade an employee to come in for their shift.
They wanted to call out, and I told them if they called out, they were going to get fired because they were at 10 points. They were at 9 points and 10 points of firing, blah, blah, blah. Pam told me, you can tell her that she's going to get a point, but you can't tell her she's going to get fired. I don't know what that meant. And then I told her that if you call out, you're going to get, you're fucked. You're going to get fired, or you're going to be at 10 points. And then I got called in early, 3 days later, and Pam was like, you inappropriately communicated with an employee because you said the F word in a text message. And I'm like, really? There's no shot. And she's like, well, you also tried to fire the employee. And I was like, no, I told her she was going to get 10 points. She's like, well, you used the F word. I'm like, this is insane. And I didn't, just because I was such a high performing employee. I was like, there's no way I'm getting fired. And then I did. And I was like, yeah, cashed out my 401k and moped for 3 months because I had thrown away school for this casino job.
What followed is what Destiny described as the lowest point in his life. Cashing out his 401k, Destiny for months lived off it while grinding the newly released StarCraft 2. Eventually, the well ran dry and he had to find a new job. Luckily, Destiny's uncle knew someone that cleaned carpets for a living, which is what he settled on. The wages for this job were abysmal, as the pay was per job. He was also coming off a failed marriage and now, quote, was stuck in a relationship with a girl who I'd been on and off again with who was now pregnant, unquote. Luckily, Destiny, through the advice of Kyle, began spending his time on a very fringe, soon-to-be lucrative medium of entertainment.
You and your webcam.
Dude, you're fucking enormous, Kyle.
No, you're just short, and you're not used to actually interacting with people.
In 2010, online live streaming was unheard of, and for those that didn't know about it, the technical skill and equipment and patience needed to live stream was hardly ideal, as at most it would be considered a hobby, and a strange one at that. Few streamers persisted through these limitations that early on even purposely limited viewership.
But you were also capped on the amount of bandwidth that you could actually broadcast. So if you had more viewers, it would take up more bandwidth from the site, and you weren't able to broadcast to a lot of people too.
As restricted as the space was, the small size of it allowed for more intimate relationships to form between viewers and streamers. Destiny would add his viewers to his Facebook and had no fears in leaking his cell phone number to an audience of around 30 people.
Hey, this is Steve with Guaranteed Clean. I was just calling to let you know that we just finished up our last job, but we are in Council Bluffs, so the drive's a little long. I'll probably be there closer to 2:30. If there's any problem with that, just give me a call back at 714-8841. Thank you very much. Otherwise, I'll plan on seeing you around then. Thank you. Alright, one more game, bros.
That was Destiny delaying a carpet cleaning job to just stream a bit more. Any window he had was spent streaming. Whether it was free time outside of work or in between jobs, he would be online streaming StarCraft 2. This is how he fumbled into a core tenet of success with content creation, and that is consistency. Because Destiny was online so much, viewers formed a habit of watching him until it snowballed into a consistent viewer base that would send him donations via PayPal. What's more, the competition between the top live streaming websites, Ustream, Livestream, and Justin TV forced services to improve their offerings. Justin TV, now known widely as Twitch, not only allowed the most bandwidth in late 2010, it offered a partner program.
I originally streamed on a live stream, then Ustream, then a website called Justin TV, and I think they started a partner program for some of the streamers, and I was one of the first people in it, if not the first person, I'm not sure. But I got a paycheck for $203 or something. But when I got that $203, I looked back and I just did a quick calculation on how many hours do I stream, and then how many hours do I do carpet cleaning, and it's if I streamed, the dollar per hour I made streaming was about the same as my dollar per hour carpet cleaning, and I was like, fuck carpet cleaning, I'm just gonna stay home and play video games and stream because I'll make about the same money, so fuck it.
Around early 2011, Destiny became a full-time StarCraft 2 streamer, and a parent to his son Nathan that was born soon after. Amongst all the chaos of the streams, his rise to popularity, the climbing of the ladder of StarCraft 2, there was some stability due to a significant income stream. In his second year of live streaming, Destiny had made $100,000 in that year alone. The issue was, it should have been more.
So what'd you call me for? What's up?
You have a PayPal account?
Yeah, why?
How much is in that?
I don't know. Why, do you want to hack it?
Nah.
Oh, okay.
I want you to pay me.
How much am I gonna pay you?
$300.
For what?
Internet.
You're fucking hilarious, dude. You really think I would give you $300 so that I could use my own internet?
Well, is it yes or no?
No. It's actually kind of scary, how close I was to getting people together to go down to his house and kill him and his family. Or it would have just been him and his father. Because I didn't know anything about it. Dude, that was some of the most fucked up shit in my entire life. I was so fucking close to doing it.
Destiny was being repeatedly hit by DDoS attacks, hitting him offline, which made streaming impossible. The person doing this was not only trying to extort Destiny, but was also threatening him and his family.
Oh, and I don't even know whose phone number that is either. That was pretty bad. Oh, and then he tried to say he was part of a group called Blackade. This guy is a serious business hacker. Serious fucking business. They couldn't even get me for calling the SWAT team on someone.
It turned out it was not so difficult to get this person's IP, and to that extent, his personal information.
I ripped his IP from Skype and gave it to a friend who was able to look up a whole bunch of information about him. By the time I woke up in the morning,
I had the names of like every family member, the phone number to like 3 of his brothers, the phone number to his home phone, his parents' name, his mom's name, his dad and mom's name. Like, it was pretty cool. I had a lot of information available to me.
With this information, Destiny called the person's landline and confronted him, but he blocked Destiny's number shortly after being discovered. Destiny then called from a different number.
And I gave him a call via Google Voice, and I was like, hey, what's up, bro? And he's like, whatever, dude. So he's like, so you can Google shit. That's pretty cool that you got my phone number or whatever. You must think you're like super pro or whatever. And I'm like, no way, dude. I just wanted to talk to your dad or maybe your brother Jeremy or your sister Emma. And he's like, dude, that's not even like my family. And I was like, oh, are you sure, dude? And he's like, yeah, man. I was like, oh, really? And so I started sending him pictures over Skype of his sister. Like, I guess on the volleyball team, I got a ton of information on this kid.
Eventually, Destiny was able to reach this person's father, where they came to an agreement to disengage. On top of a resolution, Destiny submitted this case to Judge Judy. But nothing ever came of this. The same could be said with his interactions with Mia Rose and Blue T. Mia Rose was a porn star and League of Legends streamer, one who an intoxicated Destiny groped live. In a removed tweet, Destiny apologized. A Redditor seemingly archived its contents. Quote, sorry, I have too much in my past to drink so much. I'm sorry. Unquote. The comments in this same Reddit thread dispute whether the apology was necessary, citing it as reasonable mostly to appease the sponsors that were attached to the stream. Other comments believe that the apology should have only been directed at Mia. Side note, Mia at one point did sleep with Destiny.
I'm never going to say this again. I'm going to say it once, and you guys better take notes because I'm never ever going to say it again, ever, anywhere else. I had sex with Destiny. It was terrible because his dick is uncut and doesn't pull back the skin, like, so sex was terrible because I felt like I couldn't touch him.
This hardly affected Destiny. People watched him over others because of how he engaged with his community. His bluntness and overall aggressiveness in formulating insults was seen positively. He was able to carry conversations unrelated to StarCraft.
Swearing takes away from your message because if people are hung up on other people using foul language, that they're concentrating on just what the curses are, the foul language, as opposed to what the real message you're trying to convey.
What to say, for example, and I'm sorry if foul language offends you, I'll be a little crass. Say somebody's really irritating me, and I tell the person I want you to shut the fuck up.
With his superior commentary making up for his lack of top-tier skill, Destiny around this time would consider himself to be the largest streamer in the world. Destiny was playing the biggest game in the world, and while StarCraft was rife with competition, the streaming space was not. At most, he described himself as a semi-pro gamer, and with his newfound popularity, was being more promiscuous.
That's a really weird question. I can't answer that right now.
Okay, so
I'm not looking for anybody right now. Let me put it that way.
okay, so another question would be, I know you're not looking for anyone now, but have you ever used your professional status to try to get a girl?
It's kind of a catch-22. It's really funny to say, but honestly, in this industry, you can use that to get girls, but the kind of girls that you get acting that way are usually not the kind that I would want to be with in a relationship anyway, if that makes sense.
Quote, August 23rd, 2012. Destiny types, quote, you want to see the sickest shit in the world? So many fangirls. I had one that was 15. She wanted to hook up. Dudes, she's 15, WTF, but she sent me pictures. That made it so hard to say no. Unquote. Destiny then sends the pictures in the chat, which was allegedly her in a bikini, to which Destiny types, quote, girl on the left, so hard to say no. Gonna get arrested one of these MLGs, man. Unquote. In the beginning of this conversation, Destiny is talking about a different woman, one that he describes as having a hideous face but beautiful body. The woman in question is one that he shared explicit images without consent in the same conversation. This woman in question goes online by the name of Blue T. After this information got back to Blue T, and in retaliation, she, quote, snapped. I had his email password from when I used to help schedule his lessons. I changed his email password, which enabled me to change his Twitter and Skype passwords. I have a folder full of dick pics, and because I am so nice, try to choose the most flattering to post. Unquote. Images of Destiny's penis were posted on his Twitter. This was allegedly happening during one of Destiny's MLG matches, which he subsequently forfeited due to the leaking of his photos. In response, Destiny, on Blue T's Reddit post summarizing reactions, stated, quote, was to 2 people, not an entire chat room of people. 2 people that I consider pretty close friends. I can't imagine how you can think that people will never, ever talk about anything personal or private amongst friends. Maybe I'm just stupid, but I can't see myself caring at all if you shared pictures between your close friends, especially given the fact that I've never seen any of them in real life." Unquote. Destiny then makes the argument that leaking nudes between friends and publicly, as Blue Tea did, were not equivalent, and ends his response by threatening her job and school via contacting her dean or trying to get her financial aid revoked. This had consequences, more so for Destiny than Blue Tea. He parted ways with his team at this time, known as Root Gaming. This is not the only time Destiny parted ways from a team due to his controversial nature. Only 3 months prior, he separated from Quantic because he supposedly called a person a racial slur. Destiny was not looked upon favorably in the StarCraft community. There were many people that could look past his actions, but there were others who were displeased at the lack of change. And by late 2012, Destiny was not long for this community. Not because of his lack of popularity, but because of StarCraft's.
That we can actually
if we can't hope for Blizzard to do anything, then it's time to just switch fucking games, because the audience of this game will only continue to dwindle.
Stop being a part of this community then. You should go play LoL. We are going to play this game and we're trying to make it as good as possible because Blizzard's not going to do shit, so we're going to.
Yeah, I think I just realized actually what we're going to do. This is the plan, okay? We continue to do nothing and wait, and eventually all of the Korean players are going to be switching over to LoL because Korea is huge on that shit now. And then once they switch over, people like Idra and In Control can go back to winning tournaments. I think that's the plan right now. I love you guys very much. Peace out.
League of Legends is a MOBA, or a multiplayer online battle arena. It shares the same top-down view of an RTS. From here, there is not much similar. MOBAs are often scaled down to the control of one unit and its abilities. It emphasizes strategy through teamwork, but not so much APM, as this was limited by the scope of the game. This also meant that individual actions were given greater importance. Yet, it was often chided by the StarCraft community due to its lack of depth. Even so, League of Legends had far better developer support, the prize pools for competitions were much larger, and due to its simplicity in comparison, it was easier for casual players to both play and to view. This lowering of the skill ceiling and emphasis on strategy rather than mechanical skill was for many preferred. Destiny saw this and knew that League was the future. But this leap of games was not as simple as it seems. In many ways, virtually all in the short term, it was a terrible decision and Destiny knew it.
And my big up and down was from StarCraft to League. That was scary for me because I thought it might be over. But if I could survive going from StarCraft to League, I could survive any, wave and fall or crest and peak or whatever at that point, yeah.
This was a challenge and a gamble. Now 2 years into streaming, failure was highly possible. Not only was Destiny betting on the continued success of League, he was betting on his ability to adapt. Destiny had been active in the StarCraft scene since he was a child, but League was quite different. There was the question if his skill set would be transferable. Furthermore, would his commentary be enough for his audience to stay? If not, would it be enough to bring in a new one that is interested in League? These are all questions that were answered in the coming months.
But I've been playing League a lot. I think I've been playing at least 8 hours a day over the past 5 or 6 weeks. I've been playing a lot. I wouldn't be surprised if I had the most games right now played on season 3.
With Destiny grinding League of Legends, putting countless hours into his stream, though he would never be a pro, Destiny was very good at the game and quickly achieved Diamond rank. And while he did lose at least half of his viewership and was far from the largest streamer in the world, he was surviving and building a community that would last alongside him.
Top 5 questions. These are posted every week in my subreddit, reddit.com/r/Destiny. It'll say Destiny Weekly Top 5.
The Destiny subreddit, while relatively small entering 2013, was continuously nurtured by Destiny. By having these avenues where fans could exist outside of his streams, and by allowing different ways for fans to interact, sometimes with him directly, he was building more than just a community of viewers.
But so my website, for instance, wasn't built by a team of people from, Team Liquid or EG or something, right? It was built by, fans of mine that very generously contributed their time.
Destiny.gg. This is Destiny's personal website. Within, one could find his schedule, his blog, a way to donate, links to other social media, and posts from them as well. Destiny was a successful League streamer. This proved that Destiny could jump from content styles and survive online. This in turn emboldened him. It was almost a free pass to be riskier than his contemporaries in terms of controversial actions because he knew his tight-knit audience was too attached to be ripped from him. This was a clear advantage over other streamers like XJ9. XJ9, like Destiny, leaked nudes of an individual online, but to a far different result. While Destiny's leaks were contained to a private chat room, XJ9 leaked his girlfriend's nudes purposely on his Facebook as an act of malice, or rather an act of revenge inspired by possibly the most bizarre and inequivalent transgression.
Because she's overreacting?
She's overreacting that you posted nude pictures of her online to her Facebook and messaged her friends notifying them of said pictures. You think that she's overreacting?
She overreacted to the point of me doing that, and now it's like, okay, we both did something wrong. Let's make up.
Okay, her wrong was playing Lee Sin.
And that hurt me so bad.
XJ9's girlfriend, Sin, was playing Lee Sin, a character that XJ9 likes. This is why he states he leaked her nudes and why he is talking to Destiny about it in an around 7-hour stream while her photos were still up.
You need to take down her pictures from your Facebook.
I need to, I know.
I think you should do it now.
Yeah.
I think if you don't, I'm gonna post your phone number in chat. Are you ready?
Can you not do that?
Is the first number of the phone number 6?
Destiny, please stop.
Is it 63?
Okay, Destiny, I'll take it down.
It needs to be down pretty soon.
XJ9 was difficult in this conversation. He claimed to be a savior of humanity while going on tirades about how much he loves My Little Pony. XJ9 even played a song from the show through the crude method of playing it on his phone, which his microphone picked up. This was only possible because he played it while Destiny was gone for a period. Other notable moments of the stream were XJ9 doing push-ups with poor form, XJ9 leaving the call only for his victim to call in and explain how he attempted to turn all her friends against her by disseminating lies about her, to then XJ9 calling in once she left, revealing that he was still viewing the stream. Only now was he far from friendly.
Dude, you're scaring me, dude.
Listen.
What?
You really shouldn't have done that.
Why?
Because you ticked me. I literally got set off.
Dude, I'm really tired and I can't do this. You can't claim that somebody pretended to love you because you don't even know what that
You're gonna fucking pay Destiny.
What's gonna happen?
It's gonna happen.
You gotta go with some more hints, man.
Give me a second. You're gonna make it happen. How do you feel that you're the one that made me tick Destiny, and then you're the one that's gonna cause these series of events?
My hands are clean, bro.
Click it.
What?
Click it.
Click it. Clicked it. What is this supposed to mean, dude? I don't speak MLP.
That's me.
XJ9 continued to allude to threats of a grander scale, mentioning how Destiny should look out for him in the newspaper, etc. And then he sent a link to a recently uploaded video he titled The End.
You made a YouTube video?
Hello. I'm just making this because...
Is this live right now? Wait, what's going on?
I just made it.
What?
Just made it.
This stream ends shortly after, with Destiny calling the police. Streams like these, where Destiny interacts with either unique or unstable individuals, were popular, like when he argued with his mom about religion on stream, or when he gave a death threat on League. On that note, he made a different, far more graphic and infamous comment towards someone on Twitter. Quote, "Kill yourself, you fucking redacted. I hope you get redacted with a fucking shovel until you bleed out your fucking redacted and die, holy." Unquote. The last 3 events happened in 2015. This was a pattern of Destiny being even more crude, whether out of anger, for the sake of entertainment, or a resurgence of interest in politics.
Wow, I feel so middle of the road.
That was from a political pop quiz that showed he aligned 92% with Bernie Sanders, a left-leaning politician, and only 31% with Donald Trump, that was to his opposite. This is a stark contrast to the beliefs he held as a teenager. a change that came with his recent financial stability.
When I started to make financial decisions based on my kid, right? So like which school district I wanted to be in, what opportunities I wanted to have, then I started to see things a lot differently in terms of like how people's lives are affected by the finances of their parents. That's probably what changed the most.
With Destiny's stance set, he wanted to add to the conversation. Though he had always carried political conversations on his stream, because of the election, more specifically Donald Trump, his streams began to change. He was less invested in League and more invested in conversation, like talking about abortion and overpopulation, or just maybe Game of Thrones. Whatever it was, Destiny was extremely happy to be doing what he was doing, even now streaming daily for 6 years.
I've never woken up and been like, God, I have to fucking stream today. Like, I really don't feel like it. It's never happened to me before my entire life. And that's really, really, really awesome.
Now, nearly all the components of Destiny's new era of success were set. He was driven, exploring an increasingly popular genre of commentary, and was able to discuss politics while still remaining entertaining. The only thing that was lacking was self-promotion. This last element came in 2017 in 2 ways. First was by the hiring of a new YouTube manager, someone that could manage their own independence, meaning they could sift through his streams, either choosing to upload highlights or capture larger conversations. The job also meant that this person would have to make the thumbnails and select the titles of the videos. The success was largely laid upon the employee, and so was the pay. At minimum, Destiny guaranteed $1,000 a month. Beyond that, there was the revenue split of 50-50. So if the channel somehow made $100,000 a year, the manager was guaranteed $50,000. If Destiny knew that this was going to be the reality of the situation, he likely would not have been so generous with the split. But then again, his YouTube manager would likely not have been as motivated to make the channel the success it was becoming. From 2016 to 2017, viewership nearly doubled on his channel. This was helped by the second part of his self-promotion. Though he continued to debate random viewers, he seemed to understand debating prominent figures brought even greater attention. Lauren Southern was one of many popular alt-right political commentators of the time, where Destiny's Let's Plays got around 1,000 views on average, and his other lesser debate or topic videos got around 50,000 views. The debate with Lauren Southern sits at 800,000. For viewership, this was the way to go. During this time, JonTron was a popular video game and pop culture reviewer. He was also actively tweeting in the heat of the US election cycle. This had nothing to do with his mainstay content, but he seemingly wanted to throw his hat in the ring. It just so happened that Destiny was out fishing for an opponent. The way this would work is Destiny, through a social media platform like Twitter, would create tweets that he knew would rile people up. He would then get a sea of responses where he would selectively challenge people to debates. The more followers, the more interest, and the more unprepared the opponent, the wilder the debate. This is when JonTron, after some back and forth with Destiny, stated, quote, "I'll debate you if you want. No harm in it," unquote. JonTron likely expected more of a conversation than a debate. One that the internet could see as an exchange of ideas, but the internet at large saw this as an exposure of an ideologue.
Oof. All right, boys. We're going in.
Oh, there we go. I think I can hear you now.
Oh, you got it?
This debate did not go in John's favor, and the cards were always against him.
They do. Wealthy blacks also commit more crime than poor whites. That's a fact.
Wait, what?
Yeah, look it up. Give me a sec, I gotta get water.
Does anybody have a source for that? Fuck. When people make extreme claims, I don't even know how to... Fuck.
If John realized how much his comments would split his audience, he likely would not have jumped on.
You know, when people, let's say the French, see an influx of Islamic migrants who come in and say, you don't give us good enough handouts, you're being racist to us, and then they're rioting. What are the French supposed to think exactly? They're supposed to think more.
I'm not French.
This debate was about an hour and 18 minutes long. The rest of the VOD is Destiny discussing the aftermath. This was not a good look for JonTron. He even uploaded a video to clarify his statements. However, JonTron's losses were Destiny's gains. Whenever this debate was brought up, it was given that Destiny's name would be attached to it. Animators familiar with JonTron, such as the infamous Shadman, who is known for making explicit art of minors, made a grotesque rendition of Destiny. In a separate response, Destiny challenges Shadman to make art of his 6-year-old son, as a jest. Quite the risky move, considering Shadman has made art of creators' children in the past. And how it was untypical for JonTron to debate politics and was receiving backlash, Destiny found that JonTron's supporters were more active than some of his regular political opposition. Quote, "I'm definitely not perfect. I've been a bit, quote-unquote, on edge over the past few days, receiving thousands of tweets from a ton of edgy Nazi/alt-writers. Lots of DMs, emails, waking up multiple times over the past few nights with my two-factor buzzing like crazy on my phone with people trying to hack my accounts." Unquote. This was the beginning of Destiny's new level of notoriety. Twitter spats became all the more common, like this screenshot of a tweet chain that shows Destiny arguing with the creator of Minecraft, who goes online as Notch about Destiny using racial slurs against individuals. Besides Destiny using racial slurs, another common piece of history that is shared to denounce him is one shared from a debate with Amos Yee, a person who would go to jail for grooming a teenager and possessing child images of an illegal nature. Before his crimes, there was a belief that he was a troll because online he was suggesting that the age of consent should be at 7 years old, and was spreading ideas of similar themes. Destiny, unsure of how earnest Amos was, engaged in a serious debate, pushing back on all Amos was saying except for the topic of CP, stating that there is a possibility that it could exist ethically.
I've seen a little bit of evidence on the pragmatic side, and it seems like an okay thing. I probably shouldn't say that, or it sounds bad, but like from what I've read, apparently men that are given access to child pornography have a higher chance of not actually committing pedophilic actions in real life. And I would argue that that would be a moral good, that if you can prevent people from acting on those urges, that's something that should be explored for sure in a responsible environment.
The incest debate was another of these infamous conversations that to some are better left unexplored. Then again, there are those that seek out personal experiences for the sake of a new perspective, or just an understanding of that experience. Psychedelics are a prime example of this experience. It is hard to put into words, but there are basic understandings of the risks of the bad trip, and amplification of anxiety, panic, and fear, in a realm without the control of any of it, all foreign to Destiny.
It's kind of weird. Up until I was like, I'm not trying to derail too much. Up until I was 30, I've never had any mental issue ever in my life. I've never had anxiety, depression, anything like that. I'm just a rock solid, stable mind.
Destiny is undoubtedly unique in how resistant he is to any of these negative feelings. Going through life without them crippling him in any sense can explain the tense environments he places himself in.
I'm slightly... I don't like to say this because it sounds really fucking edgy, but I think I'm slightly sociopathic in the way that I relate to people or don't relate to people, and the way that I deal with people. Now, this has some repercussions in my personal life. I don't really have any close friends. I don't really do relationships very well, and that's just a thing. But for my online stuff, it's been an amazing asset. I can deal with an unlimited amount of personal abuse, and it doesn't really bother me. Like, I say things like, so here's something that I would have said like 2 or 3 years ago, like I can read online hate and it doesn't really bother me. I don't really care if people are saying mean things about me. That's fine. That's their opinion, it's whatever. Like, I say that, and that's true, but the reason why it's true is because I don't respect anybody. Like, I don't have anybody. Like, when you ask me, like, who would I want to meet? I don't want to meet anybody. I don't look up to anybody. I don't idolize anybody. I don't have like a hero or people that I like look up to and like think are super whatever. Like, that doesn't exist for me.
You have Destiny, a person who is emotionally distant, a perfect advantage for the space he is in, a disadvantage for those close to him. So what happens if you take this impenetrable individual and place him somewhere entirely foreign? One devoid of reason. Introduce him to things that he's never experienced all at once. This happened for a deceptively short period, mid-2018, because Destiny took mushrooms. Just how much, especially for his first trip, was shocking.
Because he was saying if you do 2, you can have like you'll see like the walls breathe and it'll be like a kind of a cool experience. But if you do 3.5, you'll have like a full mushroom trip and you'll have like the different phases and blah, blah, blah. And so I'm going to do the 3.5. So I took a whole bag and then I ate it and I was like, okay, cool. And I just remember feeling after 30 minutes, I was like, oh my God, I know what's going to happen. I already know what's going to happen. Nothing is going to fucking happen because all of this is stupid bullshit. It's literally fucking mushrooms. And everybody on stream is going to say like, oh, it's because you didn't try enough and blah, 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 blah. And I remember somebody saying that 5 grams was like a heroic dose. And I'm like, fuck it, I'll just eat 2 more bags. So I ate 7 more grams because it's fucking mushrooms or whatever. Who cares? And about an hour in, I remember seeing like colors on the wall.
10.5 grams. Not only was the amount excessive, but also the environment he was in was terrible for what he was about to endure.
I did everything the worst way possible. I was around people that I wasn't really comfortable with. I was in an unknown environment. I was on a completely empty stomach. I did my 10.5 grams re-dosing.
Whatever barriers Destiny had to protect him from feelings of panic were no longer there. If they were, the voices that existed only in his reality would not have tormented him so much.
I remember thinking that this is actually what schizophrenia feels like. This is what it feels like to be a paranoid schizophrenic. That not only can I not make the voices stop, they will talk about me wanting to make them stop. That before I even have the thought of not wanting them to talk, that they will talk about me not wanting them to talk. And how cute it was that I thought that them talking wasn't all coming from my mind.
Destiny was stuck for what felt like an eternity.
That's what I want to comprehend. Like, it really was. Each minute was longer than the rest of your life experience. Is what you felt like. You still haven't decisively said that.
And I would pick up my phone and look at it again, and only a minute had passed. Like it felt like I was experiencing eternities, and it would only tick by 1 minute at a time. And then I'd put the phone down, and I would experience like another eternity of being trapped in this room.
Destiny's sense of reality was so broken, he thought he was Rectful, the other streamer he was in the room with. There were a few things he did that wanted the smallest grasp on reality.
Making people very uncomfortable in real life is another way that I can test my reality. This is what I do when I'm dreaming to make sure that I don't lose grasp of reality. So like if there's an attractive girl, if I try to fuck the girl, in my dreams I'll always be able to. But if it's real life, I obviously wouldn't be able to. So like if I make a ridiculous request of a woman, then I can know like, oh, well, I'm clearly dreaming. And I remember that, oh God, I remember that I said something to Becca along those lines, like, come over here and lay on me or something. And then she would tell me, I'm not really comfortable with that. And then like when she said that, it was like an explosion of lucidity to me.
Becca was Rectful's girlfriend at the time. Another moment that helped Destiny gain some control was going into the bathroom with Rectful.
Because I really thought I was you. I was 100% positive.
I had to show him he wasn't me. So I had to get up with him, go to a mirror, and we stared in the mirror. And then you went to the bathroom.
I think I talked to myself.
You talked to yourself.
Oh my God.
And you called your friends on Discord too.
That was really bad. I shouldn't have done that.
Eventually, Destiny got through it at the cost of some sanity and energy.
So if I had the means to kill myself while in the darkest parts of that trip, I absolutely would have killed myself. 100%. I know I would have. Well, no. I can't say no I would have, but like that would have been the feeling. Were you like crying or your body couldn't express the emotions? When I actually finished the journey, I don't cry. It's just not something that I really experience. I don't know how to explain that. It's really hard to explain. But when I came out, like, I think my eyes were like watery, but I was just exhausted. I was mentally and physically exhausted.
Little did he know, he opened a door that was difficult to close.
So like sitting on a couch and for no reason, my heart is just like fucking thumping in my chest and I don't know why. And I just feel very anxious. A few days of hardcore anhedonia. So like, I feel like nothing can make me happy. I don't even want to get out of bed. I don't want to do anything to make me happy. I just feel kind of like worthless. Like really weird stuff. Like I say weird, but unfortunately there are people that live with things like this. But yeah, I think it's just because
It was, you think because of those, what was it, mushrooms?
Yeah, I did a really big mushroom trip. I look back at these texts sometimes, it was so unbelievable. I'm like texting my kid's mom saying shit like, I'm a horrible person, like take Nathan away from me, I don't ever want to see him again, like I'm a horrible, don't, blah, blah, blah. And it's like, I'd never say anything like this in my life. I'm the most high-driven, like confident person. It was like crazy to me to see it.
Entering 2019, Destiny as a channel and online content creator had exploded in popularity. Though it is difficult to say how well he was doing in the midst of mental problems caused by the mushrooms. In the very least, one positive for the moment was when he met Melina, a Swedish girl who was in an open relationship with Max, someone who went online as Acid Loveboy. It appears Max would pop into Destiny's chat stating how much Melina liked Destiny. This much was true. Melina even reached out to Destiny on Instagram.
And then I think he said in one of his videos that he had an Instagram and that he needed people to stop DMing him that wasn't cutie pies. And then I messaged him and said, am I a cutie pie? And then he replied in like 2 minutes. And then that's when I was in New Zealand. And I guess you wanted to escape America or like LA for a little bit?
Destiny steals a Swedish guy's girlfriend live on Twitch. This is a just over 11-minute video cutting down a stream of Destiny and Melina flirting, with Max as a designated cameraman.
It's New Zealand, mate. It's not fucking America. But we're in Queensland. They could throw them out. I don't even think you guys hit them well. What? Do you think she's like really like, look, you can just like do this?
Yeah, what's
Holy
that?
shit, I don't know. It's just like, she's very touchable.
At the end of the stream, Destiny is sitting on a couch in what appears to be the hotel room that Max and Melina were staying at. It is then that Max comes out to interact with Destiny.
You have a towel, that's right.
What do you want me to do with it?
You wanted a menu.
She's the one that's hungry. I don't give a fuck. I need to sleep.
Jesus, Melina.
I'm so tired.
Is the shut up? Has the stream been on this whole time?
Yeah, because you put the camera there. I almost came out and started jerking off.
Alright, scooch.
Wait, can't you sit here? It's
No, it's my stream. Today it's mine.
Okay, dude.
Destiny gets up to leave Max with the stream.
Now they close the door to the bedroom. You know, guys, I'm gonna sleep on the couch with you. It's gonna be great. Actually, today I'm a real cock, you know?
The moans of Melina and Destiny can be heard at the end of the video.
Like, okay, so I would actually say like maybe like 20% of all the guys I've slept with has been good.
20% of all the guys you slept with? Damn, that's a pretty...
But I'm going for the betas.
Yeah, you go for the betas.
Melina had taken a liking to Destiny. She would eventually abandon Max and fly to reside in the United States to start an open relationship with Destiny, who was still growing online but talking to people like Jesse Lee Peterson.
How did you get the name? Is that a lady name? I mean, would you want your woman to abort your child?
If she really wanted to.
You would be okay with that?
I mean, it's her decision. It's her body, right?
Amazing!
That's how U.S. law works right now.
Amazing! Are you a beta male?
I don't think so.
Beta!
2019 was the year of Destiny's first major manifesto. It is hard to pinpoint the exact origin of where this started, but one of the possibilities is in this late July 2019 chess stream.
Anybody else? Wait,
whoa! Hold on.
What?
For the sake of this video, the word must be censored. That word being the N-word that Destiny supposedly accidentally said.
Wait, what did I say? Wait, link the clip. I didn't say anything bad.
You didn't mean to say it, but it sounded fucking real bad.
Destiny then listens back to what he said.
Oh my god! I'll be right back. I gotta delete the VOD.
There were people trying to get him banned for a supposed slip-up, but nothing much came of it. Not until October 2019. This is when a clip of Destiny admitting to saying the N-word all the time was being passed around. It appears Destiny was trying to get ahead of this by issuing DMCAs to the person spreading the clip. However, it was too late. The clip was out and the damage had been done, but there was even more damage to do. The year prior, specifically in November 2018, Destiny and streamer Trihex had started a new podcast, the DT Podcast. Things were going relatively well until Destiny's controversy in 2019 that could not be ignored when it became a topic of conversation in the Rage Royale podcast.
That's my position on using certain types of humor or certain types of words publicly is, I don't like to do it, and I don't think you should do it because people can take it in ways that you don't want them to.
That was a simplified version of Destiny's stance, and his separation from saying the N-word in public and private. Trihex was not ecstatic with Destiny. The participants could sense the tension.
Around me. I mean, if you think that like you can get offended, or if you don't like something, or not even get offended, but if you feel like something I say is like actually like a judgment to you or disrespectful to you in some private manner, I mean, that's completely for you to believe. Like, that's fine. I understand your opinion there, but...
Did I get the DT podcast canceled?
No, this is something I would have talked to them about in private, but I'm just choosing to like, because it's obviously my body language is implying I'm discomfortable currently, so I wanted to acknowledge it.
This topic followed Destiny everywhere, including Mindwave's podcast. Supposedly, the N-word discussion was not even on the topic list. Not for Destiny, at least. Two participants, namely Carmentine and Cole James Cash, didn't know beforehand and were excited to challenge Destiny on this position.
Enough about me, actually, and more about myself. I represent something called the gangster left, meaning that, you know, I don't be playing nice. I don't do civility. If I feel that you acting foul, I'm gonna call you out on it. Whether it be Twitch, whether we face to face.
There were hints that this would be a topic of conversation. It was not until the 30-minute mark that it became clear it was.
All right, well, let's move on to a more contentious subject, maybe. Maybe the most contentious subject tonight. How do we all feel about using the N-word in private?
Let's do it.
I'm sorry.
Good one. Let's fucking go.
Carmentine in particular appears to state in that clip, quote, "That's all I'm here for. Let's fucking go," unquote. Cole James Cash was not a particularly strong debater and was kicked from the podcast about an hour in. Carmentine stayed, cited studies and books, but did little to provide the information within the studies. Then things derailed further when the conversation became about who was qualified to have the conversation.
Hold on, Cormentine.
Mindwaves, you have to understand that, like, when he constantly says that, like, oh, well, you're not qualified to have, like, I can't have the conversation.
Yeah,
like, I don't want to have it.
I've been black my entire life.
Who cares? Just because you're black doesn't mean you have a good stance on public use of language.
Well, from two matters. From a standpoint of epistemology, from actual, like, learned knowledge, actual lived experience, and actual education.
Even from lived experience, you can go from Chris Rock, who's using.
Oh my god, I am not interested in the conversation about who is or is not qualified to have this conversation.
Sure. Hassan, who had recently joined, gave credence to Carmentine's perspective.
I don't know about our relevance experience, but obviously for Cormentine, it's a subject that's important because the conversation that's taking place is like the usage of a word that like actively and continues to harm people that look like Cormentine. Like it's understandable that he's going to have a passionate reaction to this.
For context, Destiny and Hassan were at one point friends. Hassan, a political pundit who was trying to get into the burgeoning political streaming space that Destiny reigned over, received much support from Destiny, from giving him advice on how to debate, to visiting him in person to help with his computer. But the two came to a crossroads when it came to the presentation of information. Hassan would cover things inaccurately to help his arguments. He was not able to keep up with Destiny when it came to debates, as covered in one of the previous videos. Additionally, he was much further left than Destiny, which further soured the friendship that formed into a rivalry. That's why Destiny was so aggressive when it came to Hassan popping on this podcast.
Why would you bring this up when if I showed you that I did have a black friend that was cool with it, would you walk this whole argument back, or are you just trying to score brownie points?
No. Hold on. I want to understand.
This podcast ended up being a net positive for Destiny's image, even if he was receiving continual backlash for his statements. Destiny and Hassan had their own one-on-one, where Hassan promised that he would not talk to Destiny again. Destiny also brought up Hassan talking to Trihex. It was the entirety of this controversy that killed the DT podcast. It was Trihex feeling disposable in that Destiny would care so little if the podcast died, and other elements involving his association with Destiny. Destiny did try to expand on the private versus public element in different ways, like tying it to something like consensual sex to the leaking of a video of the act, stating that they are worlds apart.
I guess to bring up some of the examples Irrelevant was bringing up, right? There might be like a form of like consensual sex that I engage in. I think it's a lot different to say like, oh, like there's a lot of like things that I do behind the scenes that I wouldn't do publicly. I think that's a lot different than like releasing a video of like me having sex. I think these two things are worlds apart.
A side effect of this overarching discussion was Destiny's bleeding viewership. He claims this is from the realization of just how radical Hassan and Vosh, a different far-left streamer, were. As such, his public distancing from the far-left views in combination of their sour ties inversely grew their audience. This chapter came to a close with Destiny's N-word manifesto, 4,228 words clarifying Destiny's stances and how and why things ended up as they did. This was broken up by events and the individuals involved. Destiny in the stream, breaking down the manifesto, stated that he would not be doing something similar ever again.
I'm never gonna do a write-up like this again. I don't have the time, I don't have the patience, I don't have the energy.
This was a lie. Destiny over the years would make other manifestos multiple times larger than this one. The following two were on Bob 7, a person who got close to Melina. A different one of a similar tone was Mr. Girl. The commonality between these two is they try to expose Destiny as a manipulator and sexual deviant. Destiny, with his own manifesto, focused on their own manipulative nature. While these are too dense to cover in this video, there are standout claims.
Me and Melina had a conversation about, there were a few girls we talked to, it was like, oh cool, like we should record videos of like us fucking shit and send it to people, like it's fun. So we do this. I kind of like have like my little archive of like Coomer material that I'll send to people if I want to. There were girls that I talked to past that I'd send stuff of like either me or me and Melina. And Melina talked to me and she was like, hey, if you're gonna send any videos to new girls that we haven't talked about, like let me know that first.
Bob 7 claimed that Destiny was recording women without their consent. which is why Destiny revealed he had a bank of videos. In terms of archives for sexual purposes, he had more than just that.
But like to continually compliment a person like after that, it's really fucking hard for me to do. It feels like I have to remember to do it. Like, okay, I need to say these compliments to these people. At one point I had like a spreadsheet where it's like there are these 4 people that I know and I need to say these compliments to them every day. But I stopped that because it was too much to keep track of. Because it feels like that's like people do that to each other where they like, oh, like you have to say like, oh, you or you're pretty or check up on whatever. I can't do that.
What does that mean? What's this Excel spreadsheet? Let's hear about it.
Okay, I have a sheet with all the people that I'm currently talking to, and then their name is either green, yellow, or red. Red means that for whatever reason, there's no chance of me hooking up with this person in the near future. Yellow means probably, but there's some dumb shit or drama going on, and I probably shouldn't. And then green usually means like this person is clear for takeoff. And then I have them all organized by geography, so depending on where I'm going, it's like people I can talk to or whatever. That's my sheet.
Destiny's sexual habits were becoming more public, especially with Melina leaking his tendencies.
Does Destiny have a hairy ass? Just tell me the truth.
He never lets me get near his ass.
And you think this guy's gay? You said he's a bit bi-curious. He's not bi-curious.
Nah, he likes sucking dick. He doesn't want
Stop a second. Go back 2 seconds. What did you say? He likes what?
He likes to suck dick, but he doesn't want his dick sucked by other guys.
This coming out did not seem to bother Destiny whatsoever. It's when his finances were in jeopardy that real panic set in. In late 2020, after 10 years on the platform, Destiny was departed from Twitch. The reason is thought to be because of this comment made in the unrest of 2020.
The rioting needs to fucking stop. And if that means like white redneck fucking militia dudes out there mowing down dipshit protesters that think that they could torch buildings at 10 p.m., then at this point they have my fucking blessing because holy shit, this fucking shit needs to stop. It needed to stop a long time ago. Like holy fuck.
This is possibly why Destiny now streams on YouTube, as they have more lax rules. The departing was another very stressful moment for Destiny.
I drank a lot, had a big panic attack, sorted all my feelings out, but then, yeah, day 2, it's time to figure out what we're gonna do.
Did you literally have a panic attack?
Destiny can now be found streaming on YouTube. Suffering only a steep drop in revenue, he continued to grow where he could. There would not be much to say on Destiny if he continued to focus on his career and limit his sexual escapades. But the reality is, he did not. And going forward, virtually all of Destiny's largest controversies would involve the people he slept with, betray the trust of, and approach knowing the consequences would be lasting.
Okay, I don't know why you're pushing this narrative, okay? This is your whole
I never talked about
world of,
Copium.
this is your world of shit show that you have going on there.
That was Dan Saltman, a friend of Destiny's, reprimanding Destiny for continuously messaging a woman that goes online as Anna War. Anna was a streamer and a psychology student. She had conversations with Destiny, and the two eventually slept together. This was revealed on stream. It was also apparent that Anna was not entirely stable, or at minimum had leaps in logic. She would attempt to use her incomplete education to convince Destiny and other friends of things that were a stretch, to say the least.
Me and Anna are perfectly fine. She is not a crazy person. She is not a stalker. We have had fights publicly where there's been name calling on both sides, but you know what? Everything is cool and we're past all of that. We've all made mistakes and we're all moving on from it.
This did not do much to calm things, as Anna confronted Destiny on a different creator stream.
And you know what's funny? Anna thinks I'm sweet. She thinks you're very, very, very manipulative, so be careful. Okay? And you guys need to end it today. Like right now.
Please stop! He's not telling the context! He's not telling the context! I was scared, please stop telling me that I didn't feel that way, Steven. You did. That's how I defend myself. Why do you say these things different things publicly, Steven, privately? Why didn't you say you wanted to talk to me, Steven? Why do you act like you didn't? Stop acting like that. Why would you sext me then constantly for months if you didn't want to talk to me? Why would you call me princess? You knew that I would respect it.
Anna, when somebody blocks you on 2 different platforms and doesn't respond to any messages, what do you think that means?
Steven, that's because you said we were fighting, though.
No, I didn't. We didn't talk at all. I just blocked you.
Well, yeah, I mean that's the silent treatment, though.
Oh my god. Okay.
Destiny leaves the call shortly after that comment. Without all the information available, it is impossible to break down the highly dense history of Anna and Destiny. Even lengthy lore posts that attempt to categorize all that happened have missing information. To give a simple summary, Anna slept with Destiny late 2020, under the guise that it would become something more than casual. She also wanted to keep it a secret, but she allegedly streamed from the hotel room Destiny was staying at. Additionally, Destiny never expressed commitment to a relationship, only that he would not burn the bridge with her. On Discord, Anna continued to express a desire for a closer relationship. Frustrated at the lack of an emotional relationship, she also passed heavy judgment on Destiny's choice to be in an open relationship, and labeled him as narcissistic and cold. Further Discord leaks demonstrate Anna's dedication to get a response from Destiny, often firing off multi-paragraph messages over the course of several days, back to back, even without a response from Destiny. She also told Destiny that acting cold towards someone when angry is a coercive control. In a different leak, on another social media platform, this style of conversation continued with Destiny occasionally responding with a desire to disengage. In August of 2021 is when Destiny revealed he was still talking to Anna to smooth things over. Then, it was a month later that the infamous Zerka stream took place. After that, Waffles, an acquaintance of Anna, came out with her experience with Anna.
Well, from the surgery,
Yeah.
My doctors told me to not talk to her because I ended up with like a stress injury in my abdomen that's related to psychological stress. She told me that I was doing things that are completely abnormal, and I was doing them because of my personal trauma, that they were trauma symptoms. Like me saying that I wanted to take a break from talking to her. She said that that was because I have a avoidant attachment.
That was Waffles talking about her experience with Anna. Even through her apparent instability, and through the recommendations of not just Dan, but also Destiny's community at large, Destiny continued to talk to her, supposedly in an attempt to get her to disengage. Then, 2 months later, in October 2021, she released a Google Doc explaining her side of things. Here she claims, quote, "He is lying when I said I quote-unquote stalked him. If this were the case, why did he send novel-length DMs of sexual fantasies and pic/video exchanges to me from May through September 2021? I can't show these DMs?" Unquote. This is important for two reasons. First is, while Destiny portrayed the narrative that he was trying to distance himself from Anna, he was still actively flirting with her. Second, Destiny on November 1st, possibly in relation to that line, stated, quote, "Tell Anna if she leaks any of my sexting, I will have some pics to share, Pepe laugh." What I meant, pics about our DMs, guys, Pepe laugh. Some may have read this as Destiny holding explicit images of Anna over her head. Little was it known that Destiny had a library of videos and images of the women he had slept with that went far beyond just Melina, and was seen more than just by the eyes of Destiny. Destiny's actions in 2022 would echo louder and louder until it was deafening. This is all tied to a singular point and conversation. It begins when Destiny starts messaging a Twitter user known as Rose is Coming. Destiny began messaging her allegedly before they started selling content. This is also shortly after Melina and Destiny got married. Quote, "I'm just so stupid. I fell in love with another woman, but the 2 at a time thing is bothering her way more than she let on, and it looks like she's maybe ready to move on because of it. If I had known sooner, I would have moved faster, but there is so much random/stupid/dumb fuckery backstory to this. I am just a fucking idiot, and on top of all that, I see her in like 2 days. And I'm stuck at this fucking airport today, and my flight was fucking cancelled. I can't eat because my stomach is in knots all day. Just a really grand old time. How has your day been, Rose?" Rose prods, asking who this woman could be. Destiny states, quote, "Fucking Lauren, man. Am I so stupid?" By Lauren, he means Lauren Southern, a once popular online figure who he is politically diametric from. According to Brittany Simon, Destiny began seeing her during Lauren's divorce.
During this time and during this divorce, somewhere along that timeline, there was an affair. And this affair got messy. One, because Destiny's now ex-wife didn't know it was happening. And even though they claimed to be in an open relationship, there was a lot of lying and deception that occurred. According to them, he had kept the affair secret and kept telling her that all of this time he was sleeping with Lauren Southern, meeting up with her, collabing with her, and planning to leave his now ex-wife for her.
But this did not go through. Lauren became disinterested in Destiny, which is when he went back to Melina. Quote, "And she ended up finding a guy and getting semi-serious in like 2 weeks. I am so mindfucked." Destiny in the past has stated he was above sharing these intimate details.
I never, ever, 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 ever will share problems that I'm having with my current significant other, or try to shit talk or demean the person that I'm dating.
Rose at this time, according to her profile, was 18. The reason this matters is Destiny in the past has gone on about his certainty to be unattracted to teens.
Nothing will turn you off faster. As somebody that has a fucking house, that has a career, that has a job, that has lived his own life, than to sit down in a restaurant and put your back to two motherfuckers that are talking about, I don't know what class I'm gonna take. Oh my god, the professor is such an annoying piece of shit, and my mom stopped paying my car. This is the easiest way for me to understand that I will not be attracted to teenagers going into my fucking 30s.
Destiny, at the time of talking to Rose, was 33 years old. This is not the only clip that exists of this nature.
When you're 19, you're a little kid, okay? Now, if you're 22, a 19-year-old's not a kid to you, okay? I'm 29. A 19-year-old might as well be a 15-year-old to me. It's all the fucking same, dude. Don't give me this fucking, just because of some legal age of consent, whatever bullshit, I have about as much in common with like an 18-year-old, 19-year-old fucking freshman in school as I would a fucking sophomore in high school. Any type of inclination towards any of those people is really fucking weird.
This brings the question as to why Destiny was so forward with Rose with this information, especially with the consideration on how Destiny views people that young, including Melina as too young and inexperienced with life. A possibility is it could be part of strategy he no longer uses.
I used to do all this shit in my like early mid-20s. So when I see it. It's very, very, very easy, right? It's very easy to pick something out like this, okay? Let me walk you through a type of interaction that you can have with somebody, okay? If I'm trying to get somebody to be a lot, what you do is you show vulnerability to somebody, but it's actually a false vulnerability. You make it look like you're very vulnerable, you're very sensitive, you're very on edge. Anything they say could push you over. You don't really have even control of your own emotion right now, but you're actually very in control. Where I talk about how hard it is for me to let people to get close to me. And I feel like I want to trust this person a lot, but it's really, really, really hard for me to get to that level where I feel like I can kind of share something. But if they're willing to, if I'm going to open up to them, I just hope that they understand that that level of vulnerability that I'm showing is something that they can appreciate, because I don't show that to everybody. You can do shit like that, and when somebody hears that in their mind, they're thinking like, holy shit, like he's showing me something so special, like, yeah, I do trust you. And in their mind, they're in charge of the interaction. They feel like they're the one that is like, holy shit, I need to take care of this person here. And they feel like they're the ones that are making the decision to actually get close to you in that situation. This is something that Max does a lot to people, and it's a really effective way.
That was Destiny talking about Mr. Girl. As for the bombshell, the reason this conversation would become increasingly relevant is because Destiny, in sharing his sexual interests with Rose, sent her lewd videos of himself with other women, some of Melina, and some of Pixie, without Pixie's consent. Pixie is a woman who is in the online political space, a woman who has been in the space going as far back as 2020. She took place in the Mind Waves podcast with Destiny.
Right, when it comes to like sex, right, that's a very consensual one-on-one thing that usually doesn't bleed out to other aspects of your life. We know here that like just like when it comes to like racist ideology or racist beliefs or like misogynistic thoughts, like it does bleed out. There's like study after study after study after study that talks about it.
At one point, Pixie's father expressed her happiness with Destiny being her friend. This was a ticking time bomb, but for the time being in 2022, there were other issues at hand and many manifestos to write. This is something that Destiny loves.
So I get anxious or excited, like when I'm writing manifestos or people are trying to end my career or whatever. For me, generally, that's an exciting feeling. I enjoy like the movement forward and the challenges and everything is like very exciting to me.
Keffels was his largest opponent of 2022, one that was supposedly responsible for getting Destiny permanently banned from Twitch. The most Destiny had to go off of was this email that claimed it was due to hate speech. This is something that Keffels celebrated. Destiny was already getting much flack this year for doing things like debating white nationalist Nick Fuentes. While Destiny highlights the importance of pushing back on these ideas directly, others are displeased in platforming people with said ideas. As for Keffels, the manifesto was released and covered October 1st, 2022.
I went with the title, Keffels, a Case Study on Internet Terrorism and Mass Media Manipulation.
It took Destiny about 3 hours to go through the entirety of this manifesto. It goes over how Keffels would readily accept slanderous lies about her opposition with little to no evidence, how she possibly encouraged harassment in order to point it out and raise more money, and how that money that was meant to be used for a lawsuit was instead used for quote-unquote DIY bathtub hormones for minors. The last segment goes over the many instances of Keffels being a very aggressive online bully, and doing the things she was annoyed that people did to her, such as doxing. Not all of Destiny's controversies were as large as exposing him as a manipulator. One that took place in 2021 was coming back late 2022.
Every single person on the internet, okay, that is pushing NFTs is just trying to find a bigger sucker. That's it. That's all it is. Every one of them. NFTs are the Zoomers Avon. That's all it is, bro. Like, it's the exact same shit. Yeah, you're buying some worthless fucking shit with the hopes you can pawn it off on some other loser in the future who thinks they can pawn it off on somebody else. It's all fucking pyramid scheme bullshit. That's what it is.
This contrast of Destiny quite literally stating anyone who is pushing an NFT is trying to find a bigger sucker, to then doing it, did not look great. Yet, there is a difference in Destiny not expressing his NFTs as something that is guaranteed to increase in value or the like. It was directly after the Mr. Girl manifesto that Destiny had a new target. Someone that late 2022 was criticizing him for his contradictory claims.
Based on your experience being a person who says don't do it, but then you do it because you can make money, you're someone who has no integrity. Hence, you should not be a leader and not be giving advice because you're clearly a money-hungry scammer. Is that an answer to your question?
This person, for about 30 minutes, was hammering Destiny with observations or claims that had little to no evidence. It was not until Destiny asked a single question that had things change drastically.
Ask you a question. Do you know what an NFT
Real
is?
quick.
No. Hold on. You just wanted a whole spiel. You're not gonna engage. He's actually not gonna critically engage at all. He's just gonna play. He's just gonna play a chimp clip. And then he's going to say that's in order to have a conversation with you, I need to make sure that you're intellectually equipped for it. So
be silent so I can answer your question.
Okay.
And when it's your turn to talk, I will be silent out of respect.
Go for it.
Now, you clearly had no background. I'm helping you out with an answer. You asked, do I know what NFTs are? Not only do I know what NFTs are, is he playing music right now?
I'm just waiting for you. I was waiting for you to answer. You're gonna say the answer?
Triggered. He's truly triggered.
Okay, no, that's cool. I'll chill away. Go ahead.
Who you are? He can't even have a proper conversation. He's basically like storming off. This is what happens on Maury when they say, you're not the father, and the chick just storm off. Wow. He's mad angry. He asked me a question I didn't want to hear the answer.
Were you gonna tell me what an NFT is?
This guy's angry. Now listen.
Go ahead.
I had a conference here.
Oh, he's not.
This person does not know what an NFT is, and his refusal to acknowledge this created quite the event that viewers more than happy to participate in.
Charlie said, okay, we're gonna read this. You're sounding really insecure avoiding this debate. You're making us on the right look really bad.
Is he telling me or?
Oh no, the psyops.
Yeah, I'm not on the right.
Pete Crawley said, peace to the saints. Destiny will realize what real clout is at the end of this, hopefully.
Yeah, no, the thing is, like, he wants to distract, and I won't let him distract. Like, he asks, like, silly questions. Like, what's an NFT? Like, that's just silly. Like, it's completely irrelevant.
With Destiny's lack of engagement and waiting for an answer to what an NFT is, viewers began to call in.
Yeah. So, I mean, but there's fears, there's like a phobia for basically everything. So there's like a phobia.
No, there's not a phobia for everything.
There's like a phobia for like explanations. There's like phobia for like explanations. So people will try to dodge explanations. Kind of like you try to dodge the NFT thing earlier.
No, was that the actual point?
So I told him like, enough tea, like NFT, like what is an NFT? What is an NFT?
Real quick, can you guys stop trying to join the chat because
like the indoctrination that he does online is just really pathetic. I think it's really ridiculous, and he actually also doesn't know what an NFT is. So I was wondering if you could explain it to me.
These guys are awesome. I like these guys.
This was the rest of the stream. Viewers continue to call in, virtually all to troll. Moments like these are what Destiny is known for, but not all sway in his favor.
No.
Uh-oh.
No, okay.
Mel time.
Why did I say this?
Mel time. It's Mel time.
Oh, she got the form. Okay. So we're just doing salsa. We're just going.
Yep. Right. Yeah.
I was getting footage for his next cuck video on me. Thanks. I see what's going on here.
Oh my God! He let his wife dance with another man.
It was 2023 that his relationships and the secrets of them started to bleed into the world.
Okay, hang on. Then let me ask you a question directly. Answer it directly. Did you fuck Lauren Southern?
it's hard to say for sure because
Just
I don't know if a threesome
answer
with her
the
and your mom
question.
at the same
Did
time
you
counts.
did you
Hey,
have
you're
sex?
doing the thing right now.
You're just deflecting.
Quote, I'm not gonna quote unquote nuke Melina or anything, but the last 2 months and 2 weeks have been a massive mindfuck to me, unquote. Quote, when I visited Sweden last, he gave Mel an ultimatum to divorce me and threatened to redact himself when she didn't do it. Among 20 other abusive/manipulative things he's done, and endlessly make excuses for him, so I'm out. Destiny and Melina were getting a divorce. What's more, the rumors about him sleeping with Lauren were in circulation. To quickly summarize the divorce, Melina had a tax issue and the Swedish government took her passport, so she was stuck in Sweden and Destiny in the US. It was here that she fell for someone else, which is when their relationship truly started to fall apart. Destiny was cold to her, and Melina was apparently still unhappy with what happened with him and Lauren.
Probably didn't respect you. Yeah, there was no respect, obviously. But I don't think this person respected anyone in their life. I don't think they knew what respect was. So, yeah. It's funny when people call me cheating. It's like, no, I haven't. The only thing that I'm guilty of is probably feeling like I was drowning in something that was making me very unhappy. And the only way out for me was to legit find someone that could take care of me.
Melina and Destiny did not end on good terms, and both parties had much to say about the other. 2024 for Destiny, following this divorce, was the year that things went off the rails, both in terms of Destiny's aggressive nature online and the leaks coming out. May 10th, 2024 marks the start of a new level of hatred for Destiny on Twitter. This starts small with a comment about the streamer Ludwig. Destiny saying he tries as hard as possible to appeal to the widest set of people possible. Ludwig responds with an image of 50 Cent that in turn is a reference to this.
I look at the computer say, Floyd say, fuck T.I., fuck Nelly, fuck 50. I'm like, what did he say fuck me for?
Ludwig received 46,000 likes to Destiny's 6.4 thousand likes. Then, Destiny quote tweets this with an image of Ludwig's girlfriend, to which Ludwig responds, quote, yes, that is a picture of my girlfriend who I love. How is your wife? The previous tweet had a ratio of 7.1 times more likes in favor of Ludwig. This set of tweets, with Destiny at 11,000 likes and Ludwig at 145,000, is at 13.1 times more likes in favor of Ludwig. Destiny, as he does with dissenting audience members, was banning anyone criticizing him over these tweets. There was more to this chain of events. Alongside Hassan's typical replies to Destiny were far more aggressive ones from different creators.
What he's saying is on site, we all have different ways that we react, So I would like him to come to TwitchCon and we'll see what happens. I have enough, I could afford all the lawyers.
Goes out and just says the N-word, which is not a surprise. Because he said the N-word on stream with his own face. Can somebody just it would just be so easy to it will solve all of our problems. We would have socialism now at this point, right? We would have socialism at this point if someone just went out of their way and it would be so easy.
This was nothing compared to the hate Destiny would get in July for his tweets about the Trump assassination attempt where the stray bullet killed a rally attendant. Here he tweets, quote, all I see is Biden up +1 in Pennsylvania, unquote, implying all he cares about is that it's one less vote for Trump. This sparked tremendous outrage, with Destiny continuing to double down. It got so large that it even got back to the owner of Twitter, Elon Musk, who then demonetized Destiny's Twitter account. This was hardly a consequence considering Twitter's remarkably low advertiser earnings compared to other social media websites. On that note, Destiny, likely because of his comments, was suspended from Kick. Even Nathan, Destiny's son, now received an indefinite ban on Twitch. It was attached to Destiny, but not because of the recent turmoil. It was because of this clip of him and a BB gun.
Destiny is so cooked.
To clarify, Nathan said cooked, not cucked. But the internet heard it as latter, which made the clip all the more entertaining. As for his channel, as a result of all the recent drama, not only was he not seeing a dip in performance, it was actually growing more and more per month.
A lot of the reasons why people know me are literally things tied directly to Twitter.
Like, the only reason the JonTron conversation happened was because I had a Twitter and I poked him. The only reason I talked to like Dick Masterson, No Bullshit, Lauren Southern, Martin Shkreli, a lot of these people literally came through like kind of these Twitter conversations. And yeah, losing access to that has been insanely fucking damaging for me. Yeah.
This all appeared to be part of his grand strategy of being more inflammatory. This is still Destiny's way of getting his name out there. He was even on Piers Morgan to defend his position on his recent comments. Though it may have appeared that this was part of Destiny's strategy, this scope of anger was something he would hardly toy with. There was a crack in the more erratic side of Destiny that was finally being exposed, exemplified by this deranged comment about a different creator.
He's way more interested in them or what other weird shit like pedo operator and the other guy.
Okay,
were
why are
suggesting.
you calling them pedophiles?
I don't know, or never mind, I do know. I don't appreciate it when spineless hack cuck cum swallowing fucks like this, okay, that jerk off to porn. I don't appreciate it when they try to
Why are you saying they
rewrite.
jerk off to porn?
I don't like it when they rewrite history or interactions with me because they lack the spine to say, I don't agree with what this guy says, but he's a decent guy in real life, okay? So if we're just in a world where we're just gonna make shit up and say whatever the fuck we want about a guy, oh, well then, you know, I'm just gonna talk about the time I was eating breakfast with him and I saw a pedo operator pull out his fucking porn on his fucking phone and, you know, spank one out right there in the fucking restaurant next to us.
This isn't, okay, this is not the same thing. This is not the same thing, though. These are not equivalent lies.
Yeah, I think they are.
Destiny was displeased at Donut Operator denouncing him for his recent tweets when prior to this they were cordial.
Why are you calling him a fucking pedophile?
So the fact that he sat with me, the fact that I chatted with him and his son, we all had a really good time, okay? The idea that my girl showed more attention, so he's also making cuck jokes, okay? And then for him to say that I took advantage of their hospitality when I think I footed the bill for like a $400 or $500 breakfast? Fuck this guy. No, this is cringe. And people like this deserve to be shamed and humiliated and are fucking cringe.
Destiny, a person who previously touted his gift of being able to separate himself emotionally from people, including former friends, was not doing so. He was acting irregularly, making incomparable judgments. This was the worst time for the ticking time bomb to go off, and it finally did in November. It begins with Brittany Simon on the 15th releasing a video confirming Destiny had an affair with Lauren Southern. Then on the 19th, Melina mentioned it. On the 20th, the actual Discord messages between Destiny and Lauren and Destiny and Rose started to leak. They were leaked in larger quantity to creators. One was known as President Sunday. Then on the 29th came the point of no return. A selection of lewd images and videos were leaked, namely to Kiwi Farms. One video was a pixie performing fellatio on Destiny. This all came from Rose's Discord account. Whether hacked or through Rose is unknown. As for where in the messages it happened, quote, "Ooh, there was a girl once. She was young, so she was kind of new and wasn't that good. But she would hold on to me and tug the head a lot, which actually ended up feeling good, lol. But no cum shot. Do you want that vid?" Unquote. Rose responds, quote, "I love it, OMG." Unquote. Destiny then sends a video that would create unrest in Destiny's, but more so Pixie's life. Pixie, a few days later with the leaks out, had a conversation with Destiny with the agreement that they would deny it was her in the video. This became more difficult as so many people went to Kiwi Farms to view the leaks that it crashed the site. It is important to note that there was a larger interest in the leaked relationship between Destiny and Lauren Southern, and a different video of Destiny performing fellatio on a man. Pixie, with the increase in volume of people probing her, on December 11th told Destiny that she was going to end herself due to the leaks. Quote, "I'm just tired of living anymore. It's a matter of time until my family discovers what happened, and I feel like there is no way to obtain justice. I don't want to bring a case against you, but I think you'll continue to send news of people even without their consent." Unquote. Destiny, through a different source, stated Pixie did not have the intention of doing such a thing.
And the messages here that she had been sending to President Sunday, Aaron says she was threatening to him, but she told me this wasn't serious. It was just to get his attention.
Pixie, as 2024 ended and 2025 began, started to form a legal case against Destiny. On January 20th, President Sunday made a video on the matter. He criticized Pixie for what was perceived as extortion instead of going public through a lawsuit. Except she was filing a lawsuit. She was only silent about it. She has good enough evidence towards this case, like Destiny acknowledging his wrongdoing when the video leaked. Quote, "I'm so sorry, there's literally zero excuse. I'd have phone convos and stuff with this person, they were fairly close to me. It's worthless to say it at this point, but I'm super sorry. there's literally no excuse. Other women were coming out as well, one stating that she was recorded without consent and that the video was also shared without consent. Pixie, on top of starting a fundraising campaign for the lawsuit, stated, quote, "I've received countless messages of women informing me that they have received pornographic content from Destiny. Content they now believe wasn't made or sent with consent." With all this coming out, Destiny was taking a short break from streaming, but not from tweeting. On January 27th, he tweeted, quote, "Korean barbecue is a little overrated, but I've always loved the short rib at this place. The Korean barbecue's name is Goon Barbecue. Goon, or gooning, is slang for being in a highly aroused, hypnotic state, where poor decisions are typically made." This tweet was not well received, and to that, what appears to be his own son, quote, tweeted, "Holy shit, log off and take a break from the internet." This was also the same day that his streaming break ended, and so on January 27th, he returned. His stream opened with a few seconds of a Dr. Disrespect song in relation to his own canceling.
Even assuming if I did do the worst things possible, and you still wanted to watch my content, in your mind, the process should be like a separate the art from the artist, or it should be a, man, he fucked up really bad, if those things were true that have been said publicly.
For the time being, Destiny stated he could not say much due to the impending lawsuit, but was talking in vagueness, asking people to not defend him for his alleged actions, but if they were true, to consider separating the art from the artist. In February, in response to Nicholas Deorio stating that Destiny should not have a career or be a respected political creator after what he did to Pixie, tweeted that he will respond with more substance when he can, and that if people really cared, they would go after places like Kiwi Farms that is actively hosting the material, to which Deorio responded, quote, "Kiwi Farms wouldn't have Pixie's files if you didn't share them without her consent, you pathetic freak." Destiny responds at some point, stating that he did not admit to anything, to where Deorio responds with a screenshot of an admission to damage. Quote, "Obviously, I have severely, at the very least, psychologically damaged her. Covering therapy or whatever is a minimum." 9 days later, on February 18th, the lawsuit was filed and posted. It claims that 15 women reached out to tell her that they received sexually explicit images from Destiny of other women without the other women's consent. Quote, "3 of these women also tell plaintiff that Bonnell deleted their chat threads after January 23rd, 2025, unquote. This lawsuit also seeks, quote, "punitive damages in amount no less than $1 million. Finally, on February 20th, 2025, Destiny addressed this lawsuit. He summarized the events while questioning Pixie's intentions, and was able to catch her in a lie.
Pixie would send messages to people to tell them that she had never sent videos of other people to me before, and she portrayed herself in her Substack as though I was the first person to ever suggest this to her, and I was the first person she ever recorded material with. I know that she's messaged people with stuff like this. This statement and implication, however, are both false. She'd sent me videos of her and other guys multiple times prior to us ever meeting and requested material from me as well. It was also her who suggested multiple times that we record stuff when we met later in 2020.
Destiny did not know if the other party had consented. Pixie has stated on Twitter that the other party did consent. Regardless, Destiny uses this to make this argument.
No point in any of these conversations did Pixie ever mention having explicit consent from any of these other men to share these videos with me. I have no way of contacting them today to find out if she did. All this to say, consent was being reasonably understood by both sides of this situation.
Because Pixie did not clarify to Destiny that these parties consented to the videos being shared to him, Destiny states it is reasonable that consent was implied and that he could share videos of her to other people without her knowledge because he had only assumed she had done the same. This is possibly what Destiny is going to use as a defense. As of the recording of this video, Destiny's channel is at the lowest point in viewership in the time frame of the last 3 years. This is also the only time in this time frame that he overall lost subscribers. For years, many different parties have attempted to demonstrate that Destiny is a sexual deviant, and what it took was this lawsuit. Yet, it is still ongoing. But the longer it presses on, the longer Destiny has to live with the dissonance between being a public figure that accepts all wrongdoing and remains consistent in acknowledging poor actions, and the lawsuit in where he is encouraged to twist events in a perceptibly dishonest way. At the time being, he is failing on both of these fronts. And the truth of the matter is that he, even if the lawsuit goes entirely not in his favor, has the power to remain online. The one thing he can be stripped of is his potential. From the women avoiding him due to the information coming out, to larger networks choosing not to have him on as a serious political commentator. In this way, Destiny can become a non-starter and would have to live in the shadow of his dreams. In the 15 years Destiny has been streaming, 15 years of endless controversy, all it took was one leak to undo it all.